Great, we're going live. You good?
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 6th Water, Sewer, and Engineering Committee meeting. Kathy, can you call the roll?
Sure. Got Matt Neto, Dan Bolt, Seth Goldstein, Elena Finnan, Chairperson Moskowitz, Joe Dresser, Clark Henry, and Aaron Cassidy Gordon.
Thank you very much. And I'll take a motion to approve the February 7th committee meeting minutes. Their motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those minutes are approved. And Elena, you don't have any attorney items from the floor, do you?
Seeing any on the agenda, so.
Great, I just looked there just in case.
Then Matt will move into water and sewer maintenance.
Okay, so we've been interviewing for maintenance workers in the water and sewer crew. We've done at least 5 or 6, maybe more than 8 interviews over the last month and a half. And we have 2 potential candidates, but we have 4 open spots, so we're going to continue interviewing. If we're happy with the people that we have, or at least a grouping of the applicants, we'll have names for the meeting. If not, we'll continue interviewing until we have the applicants that we're happy with. I don't like.
Those positions are still on the website, I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. I just don't like jumping on the first few people that come in because we don't want to miss somebody that comes in that has the background that we're looking for. So the people that we've interviewed have been good, but I just want to hold out and someone else that comes in. So wait closer to the meeting, we've got the names.
So it's a weird month. We'll have like a Thursday meeting, but because of the timing of it, everything's due like the day after the agenda meeting. So it's a quick turnaround.
Why is it?
Early voting. And because, Beth and I were looking at the schedule yesterday and I can't remember why, but because of the timing of everything, I still need everything the Wednesday before, even though it's a Thursday meeting.
Oh, that's okay though. So, so the agenda is next week.
Yeah, agenda is Tuesday, so she would need everything by the close of business 1 week from today.
Are we doing it the Thursday before then? Does somebody know?
Early voting starts the weekend after.
So it's a 21st. Yeah, the meeting's earlier, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. So that takes the next item
By the
off the
13th,
list.
yeah.
So that's April.
Okay, yeah,
Which
so
one? April.
B. I need to have it out at least a week. That it's long enough for the equipment. Dan's got the bid specs all set for that. I was gonna put it in the paper tomorrow and then have it a week and a half and then put out the information for a resolution, but because of the time frame, we'll have to do it the next month.
Okay.
I'll still put it in the paper, so we'll have it ready.
Yeah, at least it's done.
Next item is the purchase of a server for the water and sewer maintenance facility. Beth has been working with us. We have a new TV inspection truck that has a robotic camera that inspects the sewers. That stores everything on a computer in the truck. And then you need to have a server in the office to store the long-term storage of the information. We don't have one currently at the water and sewer garage, so I think Steph was going to take the opportunity to put a server down there so we would have files server and then also have a server for the truck as well, so we would have a dual purpose. But because where the purchasing policy is written, even though I have authority up to $6,500 for $3,000, it's only $3,000 without finance committee approval, and the cost is
$62.87.
So for sake of $62, we have to take it through finance.
Wait, what was the total? I'm sorry.
2062.
Yeah, I think it was
Change, right?
and 87 cents, I want to say. I can get you the full amount. Beth has it.
But as long as Beth has it, I don't need it.
And it was an OPS umbrella
Okay.
pricing, so.
It'd be good to have down there anyway, because right now I'm storing all their files locally. With Dan was working down there as well, it'd be good to have shared files server for the office.
They also have the vehicle maintenance program that's currently operating on just a regular desktop that's being shared with Highway. And it's not a good idea to have users actually working on the server itself. You know, where the server files would be, so.
So that server will be for internal office use, but then also to store video from the
Mhm.
truck.
Yeah.
Will it also connect to servers here at Town Hall or just for that? facility?
It will be. I'm gonna try to extend the domain through the VPN and. Yeah.
So if Dan's working on something on his computer here, he'll be able to access it down there also.
Yeah, well, actually, we've already got something set up, but we need faster internet here. It's not great.
It'll also give us better backup as well too, for the
Yeah.
files.
Yeah, well, we're already backing up down to the water garage anyway.
I mean, for the people working at the garage,
Yeah,
instead of storing it locally on their computer.
Yeah.
Next item, utility billing. Fourth quarter corporate warrant, is ready to go from last year. We have a resolution for that. The residential commercial utility warrant is just about complete. Chris put the numbers to Kathy and I by Friday, and give us a week to get that ready, and we'll have the information over to Elena. I'll probably, since the hearing that we're gonna have the meeting a little earlier, I'll probably push her to try to get it to us tomorrow. Yeah. Wastewater treatment plant, the organic waste program, getting the contracts approved, that's been great. Martin LaJudas, we've been working with them for quite a while to get the submission to DEC. That work is complete and was submitted on what day, Dan?
Last week.
Friday, right? Friday of last week. So now it's in the hands of DEC for them to look it over. Like they said before, we had our, with some of the people here, we had one of our inspections, our annual inspection from DEC. It was an unannounced inspection. And during that, and it's actually one of the items down further, it came in on the 15th. Everything went well at the plant, but during that inspection, the inspector suggested that we would start taking the waste from Kearney on a trial basis, even while we're waiting for DEC to give us final approval. But we still wanted to get that in confirmation and writing, so that part of our correspondence is back and forth with DEC includes that request. So while they're reviewing the packet of information that was sent to them by Martin LaJudas, we're looking to move forward with at least temporary trial run, bringing in a couple of trucks here and there, see how the plant responds. And once we get full, okay, the DEC will move up. We'll start the ramp up process with up as many as 2 trucks a day. Yeah. And that would be the way product from Giovanni. And we also are working with, we've got to get the contract signed from Blue Diamond. The board approved it last month. We just have to get that signed by Jamie, and then they're ready to come in. Okay, I'll check my desk. They was fine, yeah.
The contract with the Barney, I just received contact from them. People over, and I think all was pretty good with the language they were planning.
Okay.
And other than that, everything seems to be moving well with the plant. We're getting a lot of the projects that were long-term maintenance and repair completed, and we'll some additional standard operating procedures, staff, and moving forward with that. Dan been working down there quite a bit.
It's running better than it's ever run right now. Running really good.
So Kearney hasn't actually started bringing any wet yet, right?
No, they were waiting for the contract, and now they're starting to do their end of things.
Do we know when we can expect some of the trial run that DEC authorized?
We're waiting for a response from DEC in writing.
Okay.
Regarding the trial.
Kearney's ready to start delivering whenever.
So as soon as we get the green light from DEC, they can start. Great.
I mentioned, actually the annual permit with Albany, City of Albany to dispose of our sludge at the landfill. We need to get that signed by the supervisor. That's just an ongoing permit that we need to hold with them. They're the closest landfill that will take our sludge. And it's more cost effective to go there rather than go out to Johnstown, Fulton County, where we used to go to. Less wear and tear on the truck as well. And with the dryer running, we reduce the amount of trips we have to take anyway from a couple times, 3 times a week to, I think we're going like every other week right now. Yeah, so it really reduces the cost. I mentioned the DEC inspection. I think went great with that. They just showed up. I mean, in the past, they would call us and tell us they're coming, so we be ready. Just to have it, make sure we had the right people there. But it was good because our chief was out getting surgery, and it was a chance for the senior operator to have a chance to work with the DEC as well. I wish our chief would have been there, but Roger, who was the senior, did a great job, and good to see everybody working together on that. We have to submit a mercury minimization plan annual report every year. It's due at the end of February, which I submitted to DEC last month. In that plan, we have to show that we monitor for mercury coming into the plant and leaving the plant 4 times a year. There's no limit for the amount of mercury. It's just the state has identified it, statewide. It's an issue, but they know that it's really not something that's really that easy to get rid of, and you're not going to remove it completely from your system, but they want us to minimize as much as we can. So part of that, we monitor, and then we do some public education, and we send out on the website about how to dispose of mercury containing items like thermostats, fluorescent lights. And one thing that I was able to claim this year is also that now we're taking electronics free at the transfer station, and then once a year at the town hall here. So having that way of properly disposing and recycling of the electronics is beneficial for our plan as well, because mercury vapors in fluorescent lights, cathode ray tubes, even LED and LCD monitors, they all have mercury in them. So getting it out of the landfill, putting it in the proper place, eventually gets it out of the waste stream, because it all runs to the sewer plant eventually. So that was something I was able to do. And then we're also working with GE and CAPL and reaching out to E1 as well, our large industrial customers, to see if they will voluntarily give us mercury samples on their effluent coming out of their facilities, which CAPL basically said yes, they will. GE, I'm working with them. Even if they say no, all they have to do is pop a manhole cover in front of where they dump in and take a sample. It's not required, but it's good faith showing that we're working with our industrial customers. And then we just maintain a list of all the potential sources in the town: medical offices, dental offices, schools. All that stuff has to be maintained every year. So that was all taken care of, and I don't see any issues with that with DEC. The next item is we have a valve actuator. It's an electronic control that opens and closes a valve. Is it in the primary?
Yes.
Clarifiers at the plant that needs to be rebuilt. We don't have a cost for it yet, but it's sort of a critical piece of equipment. So I put it on here hoping that the cost would be less than the required amount for finance or board resolution. And if we do get the quote back in time, we'll put it on for resolution or for the finance committee. It's currently at a vendor being evaluated. And once we know, then we'll be able
Okay.
to provide a price. What was the last time? Was it less than 6,500 last time?
It was right around there. It was in the
Just put a
6,000s.
tentative on finance to cover your basis. If you get it back by then, great. If not, then we'll grab a resolution.
Water treatment plant. We're in the stages of the plant upgrade project. plants back online with reducing water. We're just doing some last minute, walk through, punch list items to close out the contracts. There's still some money left over in the capital project for the work, so, there were some things that we left off the original project, because of cost savings, and if we can then try to do that in-house and use some of that money that was left over from the capital project, that's our plan. Not a ton of money, but, things that we can do now that will save from having to do it at a later point.
If I can add something.
Mhm.
The water treatment plant is now on the town's phone system. If you need to call the water treatment plant, you can dial 5400 from within the building, any of the buildings that are on the new phone system, which I believe is pretty much everything except for the wastewater treatment plant at this point.
Directory or in it's I have to.
I did send it to Dottie last week when we did it, but that thing like 4 times in a row in 3 days. I think maybe she held off on it, but yeah, the external number is still the same.
The last item I have is the transfer station. Kathy finished up the annual report that we had to submit to DEC on everything we did and hauled and disposed of at the transfer station for the last year. I want to thank her because I know it's a ton of work. We has to collect information from all from the haulers, from e-waste, and then all of our own records, and then assemble all that information. And it's been like how many pages was it? This
Probably around 14.
14 pages. Yeah, so it's a lot of work, and I appreciate. I know she spent most of the last on and off for the last month and a half doing it. So thank you very much for that. And that's all I have as far as items. Anything else that anyone would like to add?
And we mentioned too, just,
Sure.
we have an initiative going on to make sure the planning department, engineering department, and the highway department are in sync on projects coming through with a stormwater component. So there's two, we wanted to mention 2890 River Road is a 3-lot subdivision. That's been approved by the planning board. The applicant is working on deeds for 2 pieces of land that are going to be donated to the town. And they're also working on their plat drawing that Matt and the chairman of the planning board eventually signed. Once they get those 2 things taken care of, we'll be scheduling a pre-construction. So just giving you guys a heads up on that. That's probably a week away or so for that. And the other one was GE Vernova. They're on the agenda for the planning board meeting on Monday, the 11th, a tentative resolution for approval. And we expect the first TDE comment letter, literally tomorrow, probably. So we don't expect anything out of the ordinary there. They do have a small stormwater basin as part of the plan. But so we'll get the TDE's first comments this week.
Who's the TD?
Brian.
Right, okay. Thank you, for letting us know it's hard. You reminded me of one thing as well. Rivers Ledge, as part of their project, was required to install a pressure reducing valve on Balltown Road. That was finally done after, I don't know, 4 years of going back and forth and coordinating everything with DOT, the National Grid, the town. So the valve was installed about 2 weeks ago. It was put into service, and we lowered the pressure along Aqueduct Road and by Rexford Bridge and all the way down Balltown past E1. But we lowered it probably about 30 to 40 psi. So we went from in some cases well over 120 psi in our water system down to, depending on time of day, to a much more reasonable pressure. By doing that, we matched the pressure that's coming from the city of Schenectady as well, coming up Aqueduct Road. And part of the work that Rivers Ledge did was they connected the 2 dead ends of the water system on Aqueduct. But we could not open that connection between the 2 because our system runs at a higher pressure. So without that pressure reducing valve on Balltown, we would just be pumping water into the city of Schenectady. It's a pressure differential. Because now it's balanced, once we get the green light with our contract with the city, we can open up the connection permanently. And then that way we'd have redundant supplies along Aqueduct Road and up Fall Town Road. And when we have a water break on Fall Town Road, we don't put on 100 houses without water. We can always backfeed. And helps Rivers Ledge because that was the reason why we made them do it. That large apartment complex at the end of a long dead end water main that if it did break, you'd have no backup supply for firefighting for the residents. So it was a great benefit for the entire northern portion of the town. And it was all done at Rivers Ledges or Louise's dollar. So it was a great win for the town and for them. We just have to get it set up with the city so that we can benefit from both sides. But right now, we did at least benefit on reduction of the pressure coming from our end. And we had no calls at all from any houses downstream, so it didn't adversely affect anyone. Everyone should have a pressure reducing valve in their house if the pressure is over 70 PSI in the system. Because they had the PRVs working in their own houses, they didn't really see a change. The only person that would have noticed it was if their PRV in their house wasn't working. PRV, it's pressure reducing valve. If that wasn't working, then they would see pressure drop from 120 down to 80 or 70. But no one called, and it takes a huge stress off of our water system. There's piping down there in a lot of parts of town from the 1920s or earlier, and you have excessive pressure. It's not good for the pipe, so setting the life in the pipe by quite a bit. That's all. I just wanted to add that because I was a big project and it's finally completed.
Michelle needs to know about ordering permits for the transfer station.
I was going to talk after the meeting about that.
Oh, okay.
So that's all I have.
Does anybody have anything else to add? All right, with that, our next meeting will be on Wednesday, April 3rd, right here at 8:30. And I will take the motion to adjourn. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.